Hi folks, Donna Bob here. We're adding Protoceratops to Challenger Park today. So before we get quite to that, in a previous video I took out the health and safety violating open flames and wanted to replace the lighting that offered in the entrance building. I chose one of the floor lamps, if you will, and because I like the upright portions of it. They're pretty unobtrusive, but I wanted to bring it a little more closer to the theme in this particular park, and I didn't like the metal and wood base, so I'm replacing it by covering it with a stone base. I think a little more in keeping with what I'm doing in this park, making it a group on its own so I can move it around and use it. Setting colors a little bit to be a little more harmonious with this park, and then duplicating it and placing it where some of those open flames were, not inside the building though, but at the outer ones. So there'll be a little bit of speed build will those go around, and I'll also be using this light for the basic light around the park, assuming I don't change my mind deeper into the park. But certainly in this first run-up on the first star for the park, the areas will be having this light as their base. We'll be moving into the Jadochta Pavilion area now and get set up to do what we need to get our dinosaur in. There's been a little bit of change since you last stopped by. There's that rock in the middle of the path, setting up what I want to do for the sign to the pavilion. A little bit of work on the inside to have floor in there, and extended out the back there for the care area of the building. In order to get the fence in for Protoceratops, I had to do a little more flattening because I wanted the fence heights to be pretty consistent around this building, and using the habitat markers where I have walls so that I don't have to bury pieces of the fencing or have them sticking out of a wall. And since I have revised the floor in here, now I want the fencing to match that. Here on the inside, I'm going to be skipping the modular fence standoff that's going on the outside. So this area would be more heavily monitored by zoo personnel, so that, and maybe some signage about not tapping the glass, will be what I'm going to try as being sufficient. Hope it's sufficient for the start anyway. A lot of that kind of stuff hasn't been implemented yet. Obviously, the guests are due for heavy revision down the road, I'm sure. Right now it's mostly for the aesthetics. Speaking of aesthetics, you can see the smaller circular ring that we're kind of working through here. That is a duplication of the outer ring of the building roof, and shrunk down. So there's our animal, Protoceratops. He's one of our starters for this zoo. So do a little more terraforming in there, get in the basics of food and water, take out the concrete, and put the animals in, and start putting foliage in till they're happy enough. And since it's a challenge game, I can't turn Nigel off, but he's really not needed for this part of what's going on. And as you can see, I forgot about the standoff, even though I just mentioned it, but in the park I had forgotten about it. So I'm going to have to pull that walk I just put in. And there was a glitch there, you saw. The sign wouldn't come up because the habitat wasn't actually fully connected with its fences together. So I had to change that. And right now, it's donation bin time because got to get that money coming in. We've got guests here. And that's about when I realized that I had been a dummy and hadn't had the path at a standoff so that I could put in the secondary fence to keep the guests from reaching the glass. Sigh. There are a lot of moving parts in the game, and I tend to get focused on one thing and occasionally forget other things, which is just kind of the way it rolls. And of course, it's all going to get more complicated as EA rolls on and more features are added by the devs. So I realized I hadn't put in the dung beetles for our velociraptors, and obviously need to put them in for our Protoceratops as well. So they have to get in there. This was filmed while we were having the problem with the dung beetles disconnecting in between saving and reopening park. I found a workaround on that to select the dung beetle group and call up the gizmo, and then without moving anything, just clicking OK, and that seemed to reactivate them, which is not too bad when you've only got 2 habitats in your zoo, but it was a pain in the butt for my bigger parks to have to go through things as the dung beetles, just continued to not do their job. But it's high on the list of the things the devs set after they opened the public testing track, and I'm hoping to see it in one of the hot fixes in short order. Anyway, so this is where I'm getting around to putting the fence in. Obviously, it's copy-paste from the Velociraptor section, and the signage and the donation bins need to be readjusted in their position. You can see me adding another one because that's the plan for that guy you just saw running by there. That's our animal for next time. It's a Psittacosaurus mongoliensis. What my plan for this was, because in other parks, this combination was enough to get that first star completed. But because the devs have disconnected several things at this stage, it didn't do the job. So you'll see me dealing with that a little bit later in this video series. Right now we get to watch our guys run over rocks like they're mountain goats, which is pretty cool. They're also changing their speed. This is all to the good to making these animals feel more alive. They're using their hay beds, taking their little rests. You'll see the speed build for that cover over this area in the next video. So we're in watching our animals run around phase at this time. They are still being sometimes a little indecisive about what paths they want to take, kind of looking around and doing this little shuffle till they figure out what's the best way for them to go. And off they go. Sometimes even a little bit of a trot there like that, heading for something. In this case, a termite mound for a little snack, even if it involves sticking your nose through the hardened sand. Anyway, if you're enjoying this series, let me know. Comments are great. Subscribe if you like the kind of stuff I build. That would be wonderful. And also click likes if the video is been of some pleasure or use to you. I'd appreciate that. So we're headed toward the end of this video while watching our protos eat from the main course here. And the next video will be the third in this, the Dochka. Yeah, always stumbling over that. Not my language. The Dochta Pavilion series, finishing it off with some belated speed builds for some of the elements, as I mentioned, and formally adding our third animal into this portion. Kind of running out of things to say about this one. This is an updated audio from the original drop of this video in my effort to improve the problems that I was having. So keep your fingers crossed it stays fixed. Thanks for stopping by. Till next time, stay well, be kind to each other out there, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye now.